Our sense of self develops out of our conditioning, that is, our family's influence and their family's influence and their family's influence, and our schooling, the time frame in which we're born in history, our friends, the children we encounter when we're young and the influence of their parents. Life is just full of a rich smorgasbord of influence. So we are influenced by the way in which we experience a life through our senses. We see a world, we see others, we hear a world, we taste a world, we smell a world. And as time passes to the person I take myself to be, seated or experiencing life from here, that navigation of all that I've learned, all that I've introjected, all that I've projected out, evolves. But essentially that person that I take myself to be, the me, myself and I, stays the same. We are always here, we're always in the now. The here and now is all there ever is. And the past and the future just appear as thoughts that happen in the here and now. So what was comes back to us here and now as a collection of thoughts, some images. And we call it my past because I experienced it. Yet the I that I was is the same I am now, and in fact hasn't changed at all and hasn't been changed by the experiences that I went through, pro and con, and remains the same. There's every evidence then, that as far as we can tell, on this earthly plane, on this physical plane, that the I is probably going to be, though it's only a mental projection in the here and now, just as the past is. The future is only ever the thoughts I'm having about an idea called a future or a concept called a future, going to be seen as experienced as the same to me, to I. And we know that from the experience that we call birth, that we don't remember, though some claim to, and maybe they did. Most of us don't remember being born. Most of us don't remember being 1, 2. We might have projected or introjected memories that have been reinforced by the narrative of our family around that, so we feel like we can remember those things. Maybe some of us do remember those things. I don't. I, like most people, many people, my first memory is of Christmases, evocative and visceral experiences of being a child, being told off, having the back of my leg smacked in true 70s parenting styles in the UK. And being told, as is the title of my autobiography, if I ever write it, and you can wipe that look off your face so you can go and wait in the car, which I think is a brilliant title for my autobiography. But that's just parenting as it was then. But nonetheless, the past, that past, my subjective past there, and the future are ideas that occur to me in the present. Here I am in the present moment, orating, just chatting, spontaneously, and thought is arising, I'm articulating it into a phone. There is an imagined audience, but I'm not, that's you, but I'm not concerned with an imagined audience because on reflection there isn't really an imagined audience. There's just a bunch of people that might, that's you, watch this at a later time, who's to say. It's not the intention to consider that audience, you, no disrespect, with much validity given the point that I'm in right now, so right in the here and now. Another way of describing the contents of the here and now, being here, direct experience, that which we never leave, is to call it, if we look at the qualities of it, we can say, without thought, but then referring to thought to articulate the here and now, we can say, it's peaceful, I'm content here and now. I can feel my body, so there's the bodily plane, there's the mental plane, and notice I'm using attention to navigate what I am aware of. But the screen of awareness, the experience of awareness itself, just is. And then as my senses navigate around the room, I say if I look at the lens on the camera, then I'm aware of the lens on the camera, then I'm aware of the phone that this is being recorded on. So I'm aware of things. I'm aware of the room in which the phone is. I'm aware of the sunlight coming through the window so beautifully as it does when I sit here. I'm aware of the scarf, and now I'm looking at myself, not looking at the lens as many of us YouTubers do. And I'm aware of the version of myself talking back to me on the screen that's telling me what I'm aware of. So I'm going to stop that because it's freaking me out a little bit. So we're aware of numerous things, but awareness itself is preeminent. It's always here. And our whole life, this awareness has been the way in which we've experienced a dreamt world, because we're also aware of a dream, even though we don't feel like we're the agent in a dream. There may be a version of me in the dream. There may be this character in a blue jumper and a Potter-esque scarf and these buggles, glasses, if you know who the buggles are, in a dream, but there's still me, the screen of awareness, watching the dream. Think about that. You may be in a dream as a character, and the screen of awareness that is me watching the dream may still be navigating the dream, but there are the archetype of me in the dream, the character of me, and there is the me, the screen of the dream on which the entire dream happens. That entire dream is happening in awareness, or as awareness, or is awareness. So we see the world as something that we're aware of. We're aware of things, and we navigate that through our senses. And then inwardly, we have thoughts and feelings about what we're seeing. Now, referring back to our conditioning in the moment, or our current sense of what's okay, or what's trendy, or what's morally right and wrong, or what we are currently having a relationship with, the things that make us excited, get us excited. We like and dislike things. Our social media-led sites really reinforce this idea. They've neatly mined the idea of like and dislike, of the mindset of the younger mind, not exclusively, but the older mind too. Just the nature of mind is to split the moment into like and dislike. So, putting that in a bigger narrative, we experience the world in which we are aware of things through our senses. We hear them, we see them, we taste them, we touch them. And based on our prior conditioning, we try and bring about experiences that we like and remove experiences we don't like. And so, in this way, we try and create a world to inhabit that is one that we experience peace and happiness in. Yet, all of that activity to undertake sourcing happiness overlooks the experience of our very own being. So before all of the thoughts about the world through our senses, before all the experience of the senses, before even the thoughts and feelings about the world experienced through our senses, bracketing our cultural, familial, political and religious conditioning, right here and right now, as I am, and I am as I am. We can use the body to ground ourselves right here and right now, and we're negating all of that stuff temporarily. We can come back to that. The world as it is never disappears. We come back down into ourself, into the body, and before thought and feeling, to our very being. So we become the human being that we have always been, that we have not once not been, another double negative. We arrive at what we usually call myself. Right here and now. Now, let's take the my out of that and just stay with self. So we've removed the sense of self, the personality that we insist upon, culturally conditioned personality. We have arrived at self. Let's take the word self away and just allow ourselves to be here now, as Ramdas so eloquently gave us, and simply be here now. There's nothing to do. There's nothing wrong. There's no one to fix. We're not in any trouble. Nothing's missing. It doesn't hurt. Without thought, there's no past, there's no future. There's just this. The happiness and peace that we seek through our senses and our feelings about what we experience through our senses. By looking out, feeling out, moving out into a world of objects, forms, people, places and things. The happiness we seek in finding the ones of those in the world that we like and removing the ones, people, places and things in the world that we don't like at this time. That happiness found out there is already here, is here. Here-ness itself is happiness and peace.